Hey guys, Victoria here and welcome back to my channel. So I was an ex-candidate for PT3 examination and it was a few years ago. I was the first batch of PT3 exam actually when they changed from PMR to PT3 and I managed to get straight A for my PT3. So today in this video, I'll be giving you 7 study tips so that you too can get straight A for your PT3. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1 is to understand as you go along. When you're in class, make sure that your mind is not somewhere else. Especially for subjects like mathematics and science, they require full understanding of what is going on, so make sure that you do pay attention in class. You should not try to understand something only as you're doing revision for it. When you're doing revision, you should be revisiting something which you already know. If you find certain things to be very confusing, then don't be shy. Ask the question directly to your teacher. If you don't want to raise your hand, then you can go and see him or her personally. Just get all your doubts cleared. Make sure that you are always listening attentively to what your teacher is saying, especially when they are briefing you on the sejarah and geography assignments, because your grades literally depend on that assignment. When they are talking about the assignment or just anything in general, make sure that you take note of the things that you want to remember, because at that time you might think that you can remember it but will forget everything after a while. There are too many things to remember, so make sure that you keep a notebook and write down all the important details in that notebook. Tip number 2 is to take note of deadlines. I believe that the year of PT3 is just full of deadlines. You have listening, speaking, writing tests for both BM and BI, and then you have geography and sejarah assignments. So it's easy to get super stressed out by all these deadlines. Really take note of these deadlines. You can write down these dates in a list and place them near your study area so that you're always aware of it. And you can try to prioritize your work based on these deadlines. You can also try setting a false deadline for yourself such that it is 1 week before the actual deadline. So this can make sure that you are getting your work done 1 week before the deadline itself, because unexpected things can happen and it's always best to get your work done as soon as possible. So if you have any last minute changes, you can always do the changes if you have done your work 1 week before the deadline. Tip number 3 is to make good use of practice questions. You guys are actually considered lucky if you're sitting for PT3 this year, because back when me and my friends were sitting for PT3, we actually didn't have any past year questions to refer to because we were the first batch, but now you have them in the bookstores. You can get them from the internet, so make sure that you get them done. Make sure that you're very familiar with the format of every exam and the way the questions are asked. You can also use past year questions to predict essay questions and even structured questions, because there are only a few years of PT3, so if that question was asked last year, then it probably won't be asked again this year, so it's a good way to predict questions. So you can refer to the answer scheme given and learn from there. The answer scheme is actually the best way for you to revise for essay questions, because you know exactly what they expect you to write. So try to memorize the answer scheme if you can. And besides past year questions, you should also try out a lot of questions using the activity books that they sell in bookstores. Try as many practice questions as you can and use them as part of your revision. Tip number 4 is to make good use of flashcards. I think that flashcards are very easy to review, and it is especially effective for subjects like Kemahiran Hidup because there are a lot of stuff to memorize. Flashcards are sold in bookstores, those that are printed, but then in my opinion it's better to make your own flashcards rather than to read from the ready-made ones, because when you are making your flashcard you are learning, and when you are reviewing your flashcards you are triggering your memory and just recalling stuff. So reading flashcard is a good way to fill in the gaps in your knowledge, and flashcards are also very portable and easy to carry around, easy to review, so I definitely recommend that you do flashcards for Kemahiran Hidup. Tip number 5 is to make sure that your study sessions are always effective. One of the ways to do this is to not ever multitask. Don't watch TV when you're doing your homework. When you're studying, make sure that you're making full use of your time. Also, do make sure that you have a clear and organized desk, because clear desk equals to clear mind and it can help you to receive information better. I actually have a video on how I study effectively, so I will leave a link to that in the description box below so you can check it out if you would like some tips on how to study effectively. Tip number 6 is to make sure that you get 8 hours of sleep every day. Getting enough sleep is beneficial in so many ways, but especially because it can help you to focus during your next day in class. I have talked about how important it is to pay attention when you're in class, and you can't do that if you're like yawning every 5 minutes. Sleeping after a whole day of revising can help you to retain the information which you have already learned. Definitely try to make it a habit to go to bed at around 10:30 to 11 PM every day, and you're going to feel so much better and much more awake during the next day. Tip number 7 is to start revision early and be consistent in your revision. Try to review a topic every day after it is being taught in the class. Just do a little bit of revision every day and it will accumulate to a lot of hard work. Don't ever try to cram in information last minute because it will just make you feel super stressed out, and you're also not putting information into your long-term memory, which is why you will always forget everything right after you have taken the test. If you have been revising consistently when you're in Form 1 and Form 2, then when you're in Form 3, you don't need to spend as much time reviewing stuff in Form 1 and Form 2, you just need to focus on what you have learned in Form 3. If you have been studying effectively, then those information should already be under your long-term memory. So you only need to do practice questions to recall what you have already learned in the last 2 years, and this can definitely avoid stress when you are sitting for your PT3. Consistency in revision is honestly the key to success. So those are the 7 tips that I have for you in order to get straight A in PT3. I hope that you find these tips helpful. If you like my content, you can like this video and you can subscribe down below to get notified whenever I post new videos. I post videos about studying tips and revision tips. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!